Zelina in the building.
Good evening, everyone! Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I am your host, your YouTube Messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious, and, well, fuck the coronavirus, we're still here. Big ups to my executive producer, Ollie Rewind Ben. If not for that man, folks, this crazy maniac with a camera ranting about anything and everything that's put in front of him would probably not be here. He has helped with this show immensely, as well as the other producers for the show, Ed, Wade, Jack, even Redman. You know, I always give them guys shit, especially Wade, but without them right now, we would not be here, and we are still doing this for you because with all this shit going on, with all the stresses in the world right now, we need some form of escape for entertainment. And if hearing your humble host's views and opinions on certain things appeases you for entertainment, who am I to deny such a request? Raw was once again in the Performance Center. Now, before we get into that, big news that came announced as of last week, after last week's episode, Ron Gronkowski is going to be the host of WrestleMania, and apparently Mojo fucking Rawley is no longer the yelling at himself, cracked mirror, asshole-like persona he once was, and is back to being his party boy, douchey, I'ma steal your girl while she's right next to you type guy. Yeah. Also, due to the fact that, you know, the fact that the other festivities for WrestleMania week itself got canceled, they now extended WrestleMania into 2 nights, very much so in the same, almost in the same sense, well, not almost, but very much so in the same sense as Wrestle Kingdom does. So that's going to be interesting to see. I've been piecing in my head here and there, thinking on how they could do it based off of how WWE's been doing their TV lately. You know, they show 1 or 2 pay-per-views, do some interviews, have a few matches. What I'm thinking, this is just personal hypothesis here, but what I'm thinking they might do, do match, rewind, you know, short 10, 15 minute old clip from a pay-per-view showing something from like a Hall of Famer, like we'll say in this case Jushin Thunder Liger, like Liger when he was in the WCW, you know, probably one of his better matches there, not to say he'd ever had good matches there, but you get what I mean. Either that or his match with Tyler Bate from TakeOver a couple years ago. One or the other, but that or, you know, that and then, you know, go on with matches. That's just personal guess. Nothing's written in stone, nothing's been said as of yet, and even if it was, you guys really think I'm going to sit there and believe anything that any of them dirt sheet fuck knuckles say. You know, I mean, I would sooner believe The Onion than believe the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You know, I don't want to get started on that. I've been getting hot over stupid shit for the past week, and this is the one believe it or not, this is the one place where I calm the fuck down. Now with that said, Mania, yeah, it's extending into 2 nights. Now with that said, let's switch gears. Last week, SmackDown Rewind, it showed, they announced Gronkowski, yeah, big whoop. I guess. And I've never been a Patriots fan, and I've never been a Gronkowski guy. So I just looked at him and I was like, yeah. But either way, they wound up they also set up a match, Elias versus Corbin, so yippee. As well as on SmackDown, they did announce they're going to have a women's, basically like a six-pack challenge, I believe it was. It was Bayley defending her title against Naomi, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Sasha, which was the big plot twist, and Lacey Evans. But as of tonight, Monday night, Dana has been, from what it looks like Dana has been silently taken out of that. Don't know if it's for whatever reason. She could be self-quarantining. She could just, not be able to make it for whatever reasons. Don't jump to conclusions just yet, folks. Let this shit go for a minute or two before you go and start hitting the panic buttons and start, thinking stupid shit. That said, also, no, now that I think about it, there was another big thing that did happen on SmackDown should address. They did lay down the groundwork for a Daniel Bryan vs. Sami Zayn match at WrestleMania for Sami's Intercontinental title, which will be done at Daniel Bryan's new buddy Drew Gulak is going to have to go against Sammy's boys, Cesaro and Nakamura. I can't remember if it's one or the other. I'm not going to lie, folks. It's been a very hectic couple days over here at the Vicious Studios trying to get shit going, so my memory's not as good as it normally is, and that's saying something, so if I seem a little half-fried, I apologize. But Gulak's going to be going to have a match this Friday. Gulak wins, Daniel Bryan gets a title shot, and you know the groundwork set for it, so you know that's what's going to happen. So, and not only that, let's all take a moment to appreciate the fact, an old saying, Paul Heyman said this, the very first night he stepped and did commentary after Jerry Lawler got fired, when ECW folded. When there is chaos, there is opportunity. Now that's a very, very true life lesson right there. Make sure you all remember that, because there is chaos right now with what's going on, and I'm not talking like anarchy, riots, and shit like that. What I'm talking about is that certain stars may not be able to, that are on Monday nights on a regular basis, may not be able to be there on a regular, because of the fact that they have to self-quarantine, because of the fact that their state will not let them leave, because that state is on lockdown, because there's no air travel, or somebody could be living all the way out in frickin' Utah, and there's no way they can drive all the way from fucking Utah down to Orlando, Florida. So they got to work with what talent they have. So there is opportunity. And with that, there has been opportunity given, because it was announced also earlier today. Aleister Black is going to go against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. And what cracked me up was some fuckknuckle wound up going on this huge Twitter rant, which, son, don't go trying to do a rant. Don't go trying to do a rant and pop on my timeline, especially given the fact that I got a fucking show named with a rant in it. So he went on a rant talking about on how this is bullshit, both guys are great, but neither of them deserve this shit, this, that, and the other. Where's the story? Where's the blah, 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 blah. Fuck you! The fact that we're getting a show still is nothing short but a fucking miracle right now. And right now they got a big giant pile of chicken shit and they're doing their damn best to make chicken salad. Is this show going to be amazing? Probably not. It's not going to be like a 7-star spectacular. But who the fuck cares? Really, at this point, we need entertainment. We need to have some fun. We need to let loose. We need to undo our collars and breathe. And this is fucking way to do it. And not only that, the fact that there's empty arenas, doing empty arena shows, we're getting a chance to see on how the performers actually work without the crowd being behind them, or booing them, or cheering for them. So it gives us a better dynamic to see on how they are as that character. I mean, for crying out loud, I did backyard shows where I would have 5, maybe 10 people one night, and then 2 weeks later I'd do another one where I would have like 20 to 30 people. I think the most I've ever done in a backyard show was like 100. And for a backyard show, that feels like fucking selling out the garden. So I've worked with very little and a lot. And I'm not saying I'm an A top tier performer. I'm nowhere near saying I was. But I'm saying I understand the concept of working with very little and working with a lot. Now, as far as the show goes with Raw, they started it out. Brock and Paul were in the ring. Paul hyping up on how Brock, he is a beast. He is a conqueror. Every challenge and every obstacle he has had in front of him, he has conquered. He conquered the NCAA Collegiate Wrestling. He conquered OVW. And he didn't really say all of this. Keep in mind, I'm paraphrasing. He conquered WWE. He conquered the likes of The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, becoming the youngest WWE champion ever in history. And at Wrestlemania, he's going to conquer Drew McIntyre as well. Now, after that, then they did a rewind to showing the 2015 Royal Rumble Triple Threat with Cena, Rollins, and Lesnar, which I forgot on how fucking good that damn match was. You know, I mean, honest to God, as good as I thought that Rumble was good. I'm not going to lie. And it was in my beloved hometown of Philadelphia. But, man, the one thing that stands out from that pay-per-view more than anything, and you cannot convince me otherwise, it was an act of God. Raw got snowed out the next day because Roman won the Rumble, and people, oh my God, did the internet freaking go nuts on how much they hated that. I still remember, that is permanently burnt into this brain. You know, you go back, look in the archives from like 5 years back. Royal Rumble 2005, talking about post-Raw. Also, oh my God, that was nuts. Now, also they did announce Andrade and Angel Garza are going to have a tag title match against the Street Profits, which, I'm not going to lie, I'm all for. Because, again, one, different. I'm a big fan, and I'm a big proponent of give me different. And two, back to what I said earlier, when there's chaos, there's opportunity. For all we know, the Profits could have been having a match set to go against AOP, you know, for Seth to have his group get the titles back. But for whatever reason, so chaos, opportunity. Hey, we got these guys right here. You're gonna be on Mania now. That's on how I think it went. But Andrade and Angel Garza had a match. And they actually went against Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, which, again, back to the chaos opportunity. People have been saying Cedric Alexander has been getting a fair rep ever since he wound up fizzling out of that storyline with Roman. You know, and I'll be the first to admit, yeah, he hasn't necessarily had a decent run. He hasn't. And I've been a fan of Cedric since his time in Ring of Honor. I would love to see the guy get a chance to shine. You know, unfortunately, with the talent pool that's there, unfortunately not everyone can get a chance to shine. And it's not a knock, and it's not like me trying to toe the line or whatever. It's simple math. You got this much room, you got this much people and this much room. You're obviously not going to be able to fit them all. You know, and unfortunately that's the nature of the beast. But as far as it was a really good match between with Andrade and Garza. They were a really damn good tag team. Zelina Vega, whew, oh dear Lord Almighty. Whew. Went about a week or so without seeing Zelina Vega. You know, my heart was starting to get nervous. You know, next thing you know, my cardiologist is like, hey, you haven't been needing them heart pills. You okay? But, whew, thankfully she showed up, back on the meds. God, dog. And decent match, I dug it. It was not the ending though. Andrade, he wound up doing like this spinning, like almost looking like Chris Jericho's Judas Effect elbow, and wound up hitting it on Cedric, and the ref, there was, I don't know if there was miscommunication or what, but the ref did 1, 2, 3, and then after the ref hit 3, then Cedric popped his shoulder up, but the ref, he had to call it. That's what it was. You know, I don't know anything, nothing's been said or whatever, and even if it was, again, I'm not gonna believe that shit. But yeah. And now, while this match was going on, the Street Profits were on commentary, you know, and then they proceeded to come down. They had a little bit of a scuffle, and then the Street Profits proceeded to have their match. They went against Shane Thorne and Brandon Viggins. So, which Brandon I'm not necessarily familiar with, you know, but from what I've heard, Cat's got a lot of talent. Shane Thorne, do know from, obviously from time in NXT, as well as seeing some of his indie stuff with, you know, the Mighty Don't Kneel and all, with his tag team, the TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel. So, but decent match. It was a fairly decent match with Thorne and the Profits. You know, I dug it. Both matches, they were fairly good. I liked the dynamics. You know, I liked on how, and like I said, it was interesting to see the aspects of how these guys are working without crowds on them, you know, and it was interesting. You know, you get to actually study it like, yeah, okay. You know, you see like, you could actually, it's hard to put into words. You have to actually visually see it, and if you do, then you could just, it's more easier to absorb, I guess. But now, match came to an end. Obviously, the Profits won. They did the frogs forward. He wound up hitting the frog splash. Got the 1, 2, 3. That was a proper count. But now, next matchup, we had Aleister Black going against a jobber, Leon Ruff. And yeah. The one thing I will say that was interesting about this was the whole silence. It played so well to Aleister Black with his character. It was just like, whoa. That's just a whole other level of creepy, because Aleister Black, he's in the corner, the bell rings, he walks over, and it's just eerily calm and quiet. He just walks over, stands straight up, looks at the kid, boom, sits down, plops his ass down in the middle of the ring, crosses his legs, and just sits there. You know, just perfectly calm. Next thing you know, then the kid goes and tries to attack, and then Black, yeah. Black mass, 1, 2, 3. Now, normally we don't talk about promos on the show, but since we need some filler, one, AJ Styles cut a promo talking about Taker with his tiger commercial about trying to save the tiger wildlife, which, folks, it's 2020, the world's in crisis, and The Undertaker has a Twitter account, Instagram, and is doing commercials for saving tigers. I'm not quite sure what world we live in anymore. But anyways, Uncle Alan wound up saying he wants this to be a boneyard match, which I'm not sure if that means it's a buried alive or what, or maybe that just means, you know, you got to get like one of those plastic skeletons from like Party City and beat the shit out of it or whatever, but yeah, boneyard match. And also, final match that they showed for the night was 2018 WrestleMania, Charlotte against, oh, my future third ex-wife Asuka. And, whew, seeing Asuka again definitely made sure my cardiologist knew I was alive. Like, oh, yep, okay, let's just get you back on the heart meds. Whew, never tire of seeing that woman. So, final segment of the show was Randy, though, coming out, talking about on how a couple weeks ago for the past month or so, little over a month, he's been doing some not so necessarily nice things. He attacked Edge, he attacked Matt Hardy, he attacked Beth Phoenix. He justified his reason to Beth by saying Edge was an addict because he wanted another roar from the crowd and all that. And then Randy said, I was wrong. I lied. I lied to your wife. You're not a junkie for another roar from the crowd. You're a junkie for your own ego. Because you wanted to sit at home. You were sitting at home for 9 long years thinking, what if? What if? What if? You want to say I'm entitled because I had everything handed to me. I had an opportunity handed to me because of my name. But I had to work for everything and the way Randy delivers that promo, again, it's so good because the way Randy delivered it, you know he's supposed to be the villain in it. But he delivers it to where he just makes himself sound like, no, I'm not in the wrong. I'm doing this because I love you. I'm hurting you and stopping you so you don't hurt yourself. And if anyone has ever been in that type of a position where they had to stop somebody like that, they understand. So that's just like, woo, to me. Sure. Long story short, Randy accepted. It's a last man standing for WrestleMania. So, I'm curious to see on how this is going to go. Honestly, I'm more excited I'm very much so excited for this. I'm as excited for this as I was for 19, and 19 is hands down my personal favorite WrestleMania. Y'all can argue with me saying this one was better, that one was better, this one had better matches, this, that, and the other. But we all have our personal favorites. 19's for me because, you know, I was 18 years old seeing that, and it was just at that moment of life, you know, the way things changed for me. That's why. Now, with that said, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Look for me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for me on my Facebook gimmick, make sure you let me know you found me on there from here. Or my Twitter at Tim Vicious so I don't think I creep John going. Leave any interesting complaints, thoughts, concerns, questions, complaints, grunts, groans down below. I'm open to all forms of criticism, good, bad, and everything in between. Big thank you once again to my executive producer, Ali Rewan Ben, who did help provide the music for this week's show, as well as being the backbone for this show. Make sure you check out his music. It's out there on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. Also, don't forget, you want one of these sweet Ali Rewan shirts, hit me up and I'll talk to the man for you. Show him some love and support. Also, big thank you to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. And with everything being shut down, including LFC, now's the perfect time to sign up for them and view some of their old shows. Ooh, lordy, lordy. Also, folks, don't forget to follow all these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter at Somalian Kenny Killer, DSB_RB, Diabolica RA, and Sergeant Curry Pants. Folks, also, new thing I'm doing to help with folks break the monotony and unwind and have some fun. Friday night, 7 p.m., the Vicious Karaoke Party. You want to know info on that? Check my Twitter at Tim Vicious on it. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me, great, you hate me. Fuck you.